Hello. It's all messed up. Hello and welcome to the Daily Atheist Morning Show. It is Wednesday. Yeah, it's just going to be one of those days. You notice we didn't have music before the show, and that was because I screwed up and I started playing music. So now as you go through, as I correct my error, the error of my ways, you may have to, it may have hung up. Anyway, good morning so far. It's Wednesday, hump day. I've got a guest, Miss Tanjil. I'm going to bring her onto the screen real quick. Good morning, Miss Tanjil Wright. How are you doing this morning?
Hi. Very well, thanks. It's quite late for me, so.
Oh yeah, it's right. It's 11 p.m. in the
11.
evening.
Yeah.
Yes, she's going to give me the lottery ticket numbers after the show. Miss Marie, hello, and welcome to the Daily Atheist Morning Show. It is. I knew it would kick in sooner or later. Okay, yeah. So Miss Marie is not feeling well, or she's under the weather, or she's not making it this morning. So it's going to be me and Miss Tanjil, and we can do this. I'm not scared. I'm not scared of you, lady.
I'm not scared of you either.
So I want to say hi to everybody in the chat. We have got, of course, Best Name Ever is there. Good morning, Best Name Ever. Nice to see you again. I hope you enjoyed your time away. I hope your studies are doing good. She's studying. She's a studier. Ian Davenport, good morning. Blazing Wizard Pope, I think he's back. He's back. Good. Stidix is here. Stidix is actually here to see you, Miss Tanjil. He said that before the show.
Well, Best Name and Stidix are people that I work with quite frequently, and Best Name, Best Person, yes. And Stidix, damn you, Stidix. No, great people, great mods. They seem to be everywhere on the internet. Really hardworking people.
Well, I've seen Stidix a few times. I'm new to Stidix, but and so far he's been she. I don't know Stidix. Sorry,
Stidix. He
awesome. Thank you, Stidix.
Discord is generally his favorite play space, and it's not the best platform. Stidix, it is not.
Well, I am learning. I know Discord. I've seen it. I understand the principle. It's just like one more thing on top of more stuff today. Blah blah blah.
There's so many platforms.
I know, but there's so many people on Discord. It's a big thing for so many of my friends who do the thing at the place with the stuff. I actually popped into somebody's Twitch the other day. I think it was, don't tell me, I know his name. Seth Andrews? Was it Seth Andrews? I don't know. It was somebody's Twitch, and I was watching him play a game, and this female voice came out of nowhere. It was like, God, is that you? And it turned out to be Kristin. Kristin was somehow connected to God, I guess.
I think she is God because she is everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
That's right. Somehow they'd hooked their Discord into Twitch, and I was hearing her talk over Discord, and I was like, oh, I cowered and ran away. I was like, I'll be back later. Now I've had time to lay over there in the fecal position on the ground thinking about it for a while.
I've never even stepped foot in Twitch. There's just too many platforms to keep up with.
Well, okay, so we are currently streaming to YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch.
Yes.
I stream to Twitch because I can. I mark it as a talk show, I stream there, and then other than that, I don't do anything with it. I just forget about it and hope it grows. But I really need to learn it. Puck is in the chat. Was in the chat earlier. Puck was in the chat, and he's a Twitcher. He twitches. Oh, it was Eric Murphy's Twitch stream. Thank you, Best Name. So it was so yeah, it was Eric Murphy's, but Puck is a Twitcher, and I was going to get his advice on, because he says it's not hard to make a little coin there, and we stream there every morning. They have talk shows. Everybody thinks Twitch is for games.
That's what I thought, yeah.
But it's not just for games. So there's talk shows. But as you can imagine, since most people don't know there's talk shows there's not as many as there are in other places. And you know what? Right. Since there's not as many as there are in other places, there are no or very few, if any, that I was able to find in my extremely brief search window that I did of other atheist talk shows on Twitch. So if I was to take hold, I would be like this atheist God show on Twitch. I would be like the ruler of Twitch.
I thought Matt Dillahunty. I think no, he streams games.
Yes,
games. Yeah.
But I have this daily morning show thing.
You do indeed.
It just does itself, I mean, I'm
just
streaming,
flying along and just going with the flow.
That's right. What were you doing this morning or this afternoon? Were you going to sit in front of your computer anyway? I was. Now I'm just talking to folk.
All I do is sit in front of my phone. Actually, everything I do is on my phone. Oh. So I moderate around 10 different atheist groups.
That's right.
I do all of the ACA plus a few others and some Australian content. So I live on my phone constantly, and all I do is read comments.
Understood.
Read comments. That is my life.
That was what I wanted to ask. Kristin has asked me several times, and I've been in several of them, the ACA, Atheist Experience, and Eric Murphy's Talk Heathen. I've tried to help out. That chat goes by really, really fast.
Really fast.
And I'd see something offensive. It says, make a decision. And I'm like, that's bad. That's bad. And I go click and it says, another moderator has already taken care of this for you. I'm like, wow, I'm like tits on a boar hog here. I'm just, just kind of useless, but I tried, I tried.
Yeah, it's particularly hard on a phone. I have just done a massive renovation and extension. So I am upended. And I can't find the power supply to my computer, so I just have to do everything off my phone. It's really difficult, and hopefully it won't be like that for too much longer.
I understand.
But the speed with which it flies by on such a tiny little screen.
Well, how long have you been doing this for the ACA? Because they've been around for a long time.
Yeah, I've been a member with the ACA I'm not entirely sure, but it would have to be close to 10 years now. And I've been modding for almost four years.
Really? I got to ask, have you ever been to Austin?
I have not, but I was meant to go this year and then Corona hit. So that's been delayed.
I see. Yes, it has.
So hopefully I'll get to visit next year and see everyone.
Okay. I want to be there. Next year will be my first. Just this same thing with me. I was all excited. I was like, ooh, I'm going to Arizona. And they're like, no cooties all over the place. No cooties.
Yeah.
But it's a small price to pay to make sure people are safe.
Absolutely. And look, being a hermit really suits me. So it's been no hardship for me.
Me too, really, for the most part. I'm introvert. Yeah, you wouldn't know it to talk to me, but I prefer to stay away from people. They're people, right?
Yeah.
And this thing is proven that they're like got germs and stuff. So I'm all better about staying away from them. But normally in my stay away from them life, I'm able to go, today I want to go sit down for a burger out somewhere. Can't do that now. And so that's the only time I'm like, the wife comes home and she sets the Starbucks down and backs away slowly. What's that?
The only thing that's really bothered me is not being able to get my dogs out.
Your what?
My dogs.
Your
dogs
dog
out walking. Yeah, I can get them out now, but there was a while there where we couldn't. And when you have 3 dogs in a house itching to get out for a run, it's difficult.
Yes. Well, I have 4 dogs, not 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. I know. And we don't walk them nearly enough. We are bad humans. But we had the one, and she's just wonderful. She's a little golden cavapoo. She looks like a miniature golden retriever, kind of long. Yeah. And so we got her this other dog to play with, so she would have somebody to play with. And the other dog was like, I like it, but my legs are short, because she was a little bit shorter leg. And she's like, I'm not running all the way over. So we had to get a third dog, and the third dog was a PTSD dog. And he's like, I don't like people. I'm gonna sit over here, and I'm just gonna, so it's like, man, we still ain't got nobody to play with this dog. So we got this 4th dog, and she looks like a little black lab miniature, right? Yeah. She's this big, so we got a miniature golden retriever, a miniature black lab, a miniature whippet. This PTSD dog looks like a miniature whippet, and then Bailey's just a mutt. But and then finally we got the one that we'll play with. So now we got enough dogs, and I joke that if
is
society
there ever enough dogs?
What's that?
Is there ever enough dogs? I want all of the dogs.
All the dogs. Me and the wife, we were talking about if we ever got to a financial position to where we could do it, we would open our own little dog rescue kind of place, or animal rescue, cats and dogs, kind of thing.
But what you actually mean is you want to collect them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And we've threatened to foster them, but we know we'll be like, oh, well, we only got 13 dogs because, we're waiting for somebody. I see it. And, some people, I don't know how people feel differently about dogs, but I love dogs. Dogs are my favorite people. And it did not take a lot of effort with that first cute little golden retriever puppy. She's not a golden retriever, right? She's a cavapoo is what she is. So she's just going. It wasn't hard for the wife to talk me into letting her sleep with us. So we had that cute little puppy in the bed. It wasn't that big deal. Now we got 4 dogs, 1 or 2, 3, 4 dogs in this king size bed. And I'm sleeping over on like a sliver of the bed. I'm a big guy. Yeah. I'm 6'3". I'm a grande individual. Yeah. And almost 6'4", actually, technically, if you want to be.
Wow.
Split hair. And here I am sleeping on this tiny little bit of a king size bed. And then they sleep on the covers and under the covers. Yeah. So I can't turn over. If I turn over, it's done, it's
I feel your pain. I actually never used to let animals sleep in the bed, but I have a little one who I just can't resist, and then the cat jumps in. So
you just some people are looking at us like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah, well.
I know, it's disgusting.
There have been occasions I wake up and there is dog ass right in my face. Yeah. It happens more often than I'd like to admit. Let me tell you that we got 2 dogs that are furry and 2 dogs that are short hair. The 2 dogs that are short hair sleep under the blankets. Okay. And the 2 dogs that are long hair sleep on the blankets. The 2 dogs that are long hair kind of mine, so they sleep on me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then the other ones are hers. So the way they get in under the blanket is they'll walk up between me and her. We haven't touched each other in bed in forever at night sleeping. Yeah. They'll walk up and then they'll kind of turn around and she'll lift the blanket and they'll go under, and dog ass in face. If I'm laying on my right side, dog ass in face. Like this, I'm like, what is that against my... Oh, that's a tail. That's a wiggle butt. So there was that.
I absolutely relate. I woke up this morning to that view exactly.
And then, not that the crowd wanted to know this, not that you guys wanted to know this. People who, this will be demonetized for something I say, and there will be a YouTuber employee having to watch this. Sir, madam, I apologize. But there has been more than one of times that I have had that I better not say that. I'm a wiggle butt. Yes, my wiggle butts. Let's move on. Let's talk about you. Cause I'm telling you, dogs are, they're wonderful. Sorry. Oh, they are. I hit my thing. I have questions for you that don't pertain to dogs. If it goes back to dogs though, I will gladly continue talking about dogs.
Indeed,
not scared. So you were telling me about, and so you've done the thing for about 4 years?
I have, yeah.
I'm a bad Chris. Sorry about the dog thing, people. I got too much.
About the dog.
They taser me. It's supposed to be about you. It's about you, lady.
That's a short topic.
Were you always? I'm a bad host. I'm learning. That anyway. Were you always an atheist? Were you raised atheist, or were you a Christian at some point and had that?
I was not raised with religion. I knew that my father had some basic beliefs and had been raised as a Catholic. My mother was a bit more cynical about the whole God issue. But I, in fact, voluntarily took myself off to church as a child. And it did not take long for me to catch on to the fact that this was a load of bollocks. But I did like the community for a little while. And culturally in Australia, religion isn't very loud. It's not loud like it is in America. So there's a pervading cultural belief that Christians are good people, and to be part of the Christian community means that you're a good person, and they're slightly elevated in esteem, I would say. That was certainly the culture that I grew up with anyway.
Right.
And I had that in mind, and when I went there, attended church, I soon found out that actually, no, they're not better people at all. In fact, very questionable morals and ethics and behaviours. So that sort of crushed all that for me. But my my journey into actually active atheism was from a slightly left of centre aspect. It was more the cultural legacy of religion that affected me personally as both as a female, as a mother, as a single mother. Some things that really bugged me. Look at that. That's a really, really long story. But that's essentially what got me in. Now, I've always been a very active working person, and I was struck by a medical condition 10 years ago, which has left me unable to work now. It's a chronic illness. It's a systemic problem with my sympathetic nervous system. Okay. So it creates all sorts of issues with blood pressure and other body parts and functions. Okay. So I was rendered inactive, which was really difficult for me. But that got me more interested in politics and more interested in some of the issues that I had faced previously as a single mother and a female, and tracing all that back to where that cultural conditioning came from. And of course, it all led back to religion, didn't it? So I guess I got into it and became a labelled atheist and an active atheist probably later in life, really. Probably in my 40s, I would say. Okay. And then tracing all of that led me to the atheist groups, and that's pretty much how I ended up here.
I'm sure you've heard of Neil, the 604 Atheist, yes?
Yeah.
Have you ever been on his show?
I have not.
You have not. I think I'm seeing him here in the chat. He would love to have you tell your deconversion story over on his stream. He's got that's his whole bag is deconversion stories. So.
I'm a backstage person.
I know. That's true. That's sort of like Kristin. It's like pulling teeth. I've heard she's on a stream somewhere. She was on one of Neil's streams, really? An after party or something. I don't know. I bet if I ask the chat, some good, decent, wonderful atheist will provide me with the link. But she's a backstage person too. She doesn't.
Me too. And she knows that, and she still put me forward.
I know. Under the bus.
I will get you for that.
Under the bus. She threw you. I was like minding my own business, walking along, doing nothing. I was atheisting somewhere, and here it is. Yeah. And she's like, "Have you ever heard of Tanjil Wright?" And I'm like, I have not. And there you are.
No, of course not. No one's heard of Tanjil Wright.
See, well, now they have. See?
Well,
See? Yeah. I have, one of the things I want to know. So can you go into what made you more of an activist then? Helping these other people? Did some religion was it the ugly face of religion that made you go from just being a non-believer to actually against religion?
Yeah, I would definitely describe myself as an anti-theist.
Okay.
Definitely. Fun fact, I actually read your book before I knew who you were. I read it some time ago.
My book. The one with crayons I did in crayon or Well, thank you very much for that. The anti-theist book. Okay.
It's it's on my Kindle reader. So highly recommended.
I hope you got the updates. When I first read it or wrote it, it was like me grog write book. And then I actually literally went and took a college writing class, went back in horror and updated the book. And I don't know if it ever spread it out. I don't know enough about Kindle, but thank you for
I don't know if it auto updates. I'm not sure.
Anyway.
So it was a little while back, but well done.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So you actually read up on me before coming on the show. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And now you were going to tell us what made you an activist.
Okay. Time. Essentially time. I mean, when you're a working person, you don't have a lot of time to get involved in local politics, world politics, or anything like that. So coming from being a super active person, going to basically bedbound for most of the time, I had to find some way to fill in my time. And the thing about atheism is, even though that's only the answer to one question in life, when you explore it, it opens up so many avenues. I mean, just to react to apologetics, to offer counter apologetics, you've got to have a little bit of philosophy. You've got to have a little bit of physics knowledge. You've got just so many things. And I love history. I love reading up on ancient literature. even just geography. So it leads you into so many interesting topics. So that it just all accumulated. You know what it's like? It's like when you're surfing on the internet and you just keep going down different rabbit holes. And that all led me back to atheism and organized atheist groups. So joining the groups, I soon saw just how many other harms there were with religion, not just the harms that I had experienced myself. And particularly in the US, where religion is predominant and the harm, I think, is far greater.
True.
There were so many people coming out from the shows, spilling over. So for those who don't know, the ACA is the Austin community of the atheist community of Austin, and they host a show called The Atheist Experience, along with some other productions like Talk Heathen and Nonprofits and Godless Bitches and Shameless Plugging here.
No, go right ahead.
So they have shows, and one of them, The Atheist Experience, is probably the largest one. And theists will call in and debate the existence of God or explain why they believe what they believe. And there are various hosts who handle all of the calls quite differently. And there's a lot of people who suffer really tragic experiences from leaving their religion. So they spill out over into our discussion groups. And there they can find a soft place to land. Well, at least that's what we attempt to give them. So they get to be welcomed into community. Sometimes it's the only place they can expose themselves as atheists. And they can also be armed with some of the counter-apologetics that they experience, because not everyone can crystallize their ideas around their atheism and why they don't believe. They know they just feel in their brains that this doesn't make sense, but they can't always express good, well thought out responses to family and friends when asked. So it gives them an opportunity to explore counter apologetics and be armed and supported while they're doing it. And I found that really, really fulfilling, which is why I volunteered to be a moderator and help to keep that environment as kind as we possibly can, which is really difficult.
I bet.
But we try.
I have a few trolls myself. Kristin protects me. Kristin and a few of the others protect me from them. Absolutely.
Oh, she's amazing. Amazing. Yeah. And Stedix and all of your mods, actually. I've seen them at work. So that's, I kind of just, I parked there for a little while and I find myself still there. I'm not sure where I'll go outside of that. But right now, I just like being part of that community and offering that service.
Mm-hmm. Well, in the examples that we have set. Oh, good morning, Brainbug and Paul Cammish. How are you doing? And Dragons in Genesis. Good morning, everybody. With the Kristin, I have had the trolls come into my chat. So we're here in the middle of a show. And I'm trying to, and if it weren't for my mods, I'd have to stop and argue with these people and ban them and go through that whole thing. And I've had like the first time they came in, it was a little bit of disruption. But then after that, now I may not even see them at all.
Oh, that's great.
They're just, my mods are wonderful. The mods who are here. Excellent.
Yeah.
Oh, good morning, Link. Yeah. Nice to see you too. And Neil, by the way, we're talking about Neil. Again, you really should. If you're not doing anything and you're just sitting around, just slacking, being a slacker, you should go be on Neil's show. He's got a wonderful show. We trade. See, what I'm trying to do is I'm using you as barter. We trade guests back and forth.
Around.
It's like Go Fish. I've got a Tanjil Wright. Do you have a Hermit Meta? Okay. Being
on camera is not something I aspire to, I'm afraid. It's I mean, look, I'd consider it, but I don't think it's my forte. I like being a support person, and I like being behind the scenes.
Well, we appreciate those who do the behind the scenes stuff, because man, I tell you, if it weren't for Kristin, I'm having problems this morning. If it weren't for Kristin and the others like her who have helped throughout the show, my show would not nearly have the legs it's got. Absolutely. Nor the guests. The guests
mods really do work hard. It's a lot of work, if you can imagine, especially with the thousands of comments and posts that we experience on all these different platforms, and we literally have to read every single one of them. And it's not a matter of it goes by and then you just move on. You've got to keep going back over, especially on Facebook. We have to keep going back over old posts for new comments and checking that things are fairly clean, and you do miss things. It happens, but there's a lot more that goes on as well. For example, I know that Best Name, myself, I don't know if Puck is in there in the chat right now. I can't see the chat. We're all busily promoting some more hosts. So Jenna Belk on her channel, Atheist Aces. It's great to have more females out in the open. And Jen Eldridge on hers, Atheist Wind Down. So yeah, helping to promote content providers and those who are out there busily on the front lines.
Absolutely, yes, because they need it. We need it. Absolutely.
Everybody needs it.
Okay, so you mentioned that about the women. It's good to see more women online. Yeah. Now, normally Marie Delafont kind of hosts Wednesday, but thankfully I got a lot of people willing to host and co-host and go, and be on the show and cycle out and do things. So it kind of doesn't matter who the host is throughout each individual day or the co-host. What I was thinking about doing, and I was going to ask, I even have it written down here. I've been considering doing more themed days of the week, and I thought I'd ask you and the other people in the chat, because I know you're familiar with a lot of different shows. Now, right now we have Sci-Fi Saturday, and Sci-Fi Saturday really seems to go over very well with my nerd friends. Yeah. They enjoy it. I've got a wonderful co-host, Miss Leighann Lord. She's a stand-up comedian and a sci-fi nerd, uber nerd, Star Trek. Oh, goodness.
Nice.
Yes. So I've been going about thinking about doing a women's Wednesday women's kind of doing a women's show Wednesday, where I would have a female co-host come in and help co-host, and then we'd get female guests, and I would almost essentially step out and let them do and have, of course there's other people saying Marvel Mondays and talk about Marvel on Mondays, these kind of things. I'm not against those things. I've been exploring with the idea, because normally I just get up, I get a guest host or a guest, and we just kind of riff it for a little while. And I've been thinking about doing more focused topics. Being a little more focused.
Would definitely recommend setting new topics, not necessarily dedicating whole days to them, but maybe just putting it in the mix as topics, because I think just purely focused on women every single time, every Wednesday, I think.
Well, okay, I have another idea then. If you can, because I'm not sold on that. I am in no way married to that idea. I obviously love women, and I want to have women on the show. I too am for the idea of we need more, and let's empower them as best we can in the environment. However, that doesn't mean I have to do that on my show, right? I love them. Don't have to do that on the show. I can still have blah, 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 blah. Let's move on. So I also had the idea, because I'm a very big cannabis supporter. I'm a supporter of the cannabis idea and the things that it helps. Not the woo part. There's kind of a woo built up about cannabis, but there's a real actual benefits to cannabis. Then, of course, there's the recreational aspects of cannabis. So I was thinking of Weed Wednesdays.
Weed Wednesday or 420 Tuesdays.
Oh, that was wonderful. I'm writing it down, 420 Tuesdays. It just rolled off the tongue. Did you do that on your own?
That was like that on my own.
That was 420.
And I can count to potato.
Well, right now I have Andy Hall. He's a writer at Pathos, and for the Laughing in Disbelief blog at Pathos, and he has the Tuesday slot because that's the only day that he can. So I'm going to write that down though and save that. So if we ever, he's more into the alcohol than the burnables. I do believe. I could be mistaken. I was mistaken once. It was a long time ago. It may even be. My friendly neighborhood atheist, the Daily Atheist. I would love to talk to you about all the medication I got off as a result of medical marijuana. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm all about it being a good and wonderful thing. Matter of fact, you'll be on the show manana, as far as I know, right, Ethan? So that was Super Ethan. Ethan is my Thursday co-host. It's one of those things. Have you seen the movie Starship Troopers? Those of you who've seen, there's this, I don't remember what his rank was, colonel. I think he was a colonel. And his whole deal was, you're it until you're dead or I find somebody better. So Ethan is my co-host on Thursdays until he's dead or I find somebody better. And as hard as this guy is working, this guy does like a stream every 4 minutes. He's on a different stream over here and he's on a different stream over here. I know. You think I put out a lot of content.
Oh, I can't believe you do it daily. That's just astonishing for me.
He's on 3 or 4 a day.
Yeah. And where do you get time to watch TV? I don't get time to watch TV.
Yeah, no. Well, okay. The woman, the wife, the amazing super wife. She we have a narrow window after she gets home. We eat dinner. Then we have this window to which we spend our quality time watching shows or something like that. And oftentimes I'll try to watch shows like Neil's. It's right in Neil's shows often happen right in the middle of my wifey time. So it's kind of hard for me to get there, but I'll start them over on one screen and I won't be able to hear them. I'll just be supporting. I'll give them a thumbs up and maybe say hi in the chat while me and the wife watch a show on another screen and have our wife home time, you know? So, and sometimes even then she's like, you need to stop. Cause I just, you know, I was like, oh, look at this metric or look at this. We got this, look at this happen. She's like, you need to stop. It's my time.
Yeah. I have, my father gets quite annoyed with me constantly. Hi, Dad. I think he's watching. He thinks I'm married to my phone and glued to my phone constantly.
Yeah. Well, you know, as a moderator, and again, no, I knew you're a moderator for the ACA, and I didn't know you moderated Facebook groups as well. So that's a whole different thing.
Yeah. Facebook, all their Facebook discussion groups, and some of YouTube. I mean, I'm a moderator on all of them, but I don't always make the shows. For example, Talk Heathens on at something like 5 a.m. my time, so I don't make it. Sometimes I miss AXP when it's during the live shows because it's pretty early as well. So depending on what, I'm a bit of a night owl, so getting up in time for that is a little difficult for me.
Absolutely. Well, all right. So I'm going to try to remember this. Miss Best Name Ever Kirsten said tells me to read louder. I do mumble. I do tend to mumble. Anyway, thank you, Paul. Paul Cammish has hooked us up with a coffee. 2 pounds. 2 pounds.
Cheers.
1 pound and 99 pence. Thank you very much, Paul. I appreciate it. Thank you. So there's a lot of things going on with, actually, we are, I know I said we're streaming to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, right? That's what I said. We're streaming to my Facebook page.
Right.
And then I'm syndicating that out to about 10 other Facebook pages and groups, including the Atheists Against Pseudoscience Nonsense, which is a page of about 110,000 subscribers.
Oh, yeah, I'm a member.
Yeah. So, So you see that. So that's one of the things I've been trying to build on my Facebook presence, but I don't know how to use Facebook. I know how to use it as a user, but as a content creator, I don't get it at all. I don't get it. I make little commercials. Did you see the commercial?
No.
Oh, I made you a commercial. Anyway, I make the commercials and I post them on Facebook, but I don't get it. I don't get Facebook. It's just hard on my
really?
brain.
I find that, look, I don't know if it's my age or I've always been able to keep up with technology, but I'm 52 now. And for some reason, everything's just too hard. I look at things and just go, I've got to, I don't want to have to figure this out.
Yeah.
No, so that's a difficulty I've had with Discord. I look at it and just think, it's so busy. I can't be bothered.
That's right. Discord
but Facebook
brain.
I find really, really simple. Everything else is sort of a bit difficult for me.
Really? You find it simple. I want to say thank you to the Blazing Wizard Pope for 50 Danish krones. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's a muffin.
Blazing Wizard Pope, he is everywhere. He's such a great supporter of the atheist community.
Yes, he's been wonderful. He actually a muffin for Weed Wednesday, because weed again has been a very big topic. That's a wonderful, or cannabis, weed, marijuana, however you want to phrase it.
Oh, that's because you're an immoral atheist. You drug taking.
Oh, I love it. Emerald atheist. I'm stealing all these good ones. I'm stealing them. Emerald atheist. You didn't know I could rap. There I go. I'm stealing it. That's mine. I stole it, ran away. I even got the video. So, good morning, Marie. She's kind of, there she is. She's nerding in the chat with us. Good morning. I'm making sure I read that right. And Sassy Heathen, good morning to you as well. You're not, you said 52? Did you say that? I don't know. Somebody was there's something about you being 52 in the chat. Did you say it and I miss it?
Yeah, I'm 52. Nearly 53.
Lies
No,
straight from the devil.
5th of June. Gifts accepted.
Wow, the years have been kind. You know, I come from a place where it's unkind to talk to a lady about her age. So I just
couldn't care less.
I know. Yeah, I know. It's I'm almost 48. Am I 48 or 49? Almost 48. I'm almost 49.
Yeah.
Yes. We watched Capone last night. Change of subject. With Tom Hardy, Capone. I am the same age that Capone was when he died of neurosyphilis.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. So if you watch that movie,
it's getting scary to get older. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the years have been a lot kinder to me than they were to Capone. If you watch the movie, it was not.
Indeed.
Yes, it was rather rough. So, anybody out there, if you have ideas, the idea of doing a theme day, does Weed Wednesday sound like a good idea? I think that's a good idea. I actually have I've been trying a new kind of pipe called the Genius Pipe. Have anybody? Are you? Well, you're not.
No, I'm not. No,
not a person of the plant.
Anything fogging this brain. This brain has enough
emerald
of a struggle.
Yeah.
It was my father's 75th birthday the other day. So, I thought that drinking sounded like a really good idea. That was such a bad idea. I think I'm still suffering from that, and that was about 4 days ago. So,
gotcha. Okay, I'm writing this. I'm seeing these suggestions. I want to write down. Happy birthday to your grandfather. You said your dad. I'm sorry. I'm trying.
My father.
Your father. There you go.
My father. Yes. Froggy.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. And there's Ilya. Ilya Moon is in the chat too. Tons of mice. Lots of folks are showing up. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, Ilya and Patches, isn't it right? I mean, she's got a show going on. If she wants to put a link, she's welcome to put a link. And we'll get her. Oh, I gotta say something else too. Brainbug, buddy, love you. You're wonderful. Brainbug is wonderful. I don't know. Have you met Brainbug? You've seen Starship Troopers with the Brainbug, the Brainbug? No, you. Oh, it's a wonderful show. Anyway, the Brainbug is in my chat, and I'm a bad Chris. Somehow along the way, in the very beginning, when Brainbug started watching my show, somehow I misread something and I thought Brainbug was a girl. A woman, a female. Oh. I learned, and all this time I've been addressing, hi, she's wonderful. Hi, this is my favorite brain bug in the whole world. So Kristin, like the day before yesterday, said, have you ever watched any of his videos? I'm like, his is no. Good morning, Brian. How are you doing today? So Brian is here this morning in the chat. Good morning, Brainbug Brian. I'm sorry I'm a bad man.
Misgendering you.
I misgendered you. Yeah, and at one point, this is how much I believed. Mm-hmm. I saw him mention something about his wife, and it didn't change my notion. We're such an open-minded community in the atheist community about that sort of thing. I just assumed Brainbug was a lesbian who had a wife. So Brainbug is like, I'm never going to watch your show again, jackass. And he's probably out the door already. But I'm sorry. I just wanted to say my sorries and then knock over my desk. In penance. Sorry. I did it. Yeah, so good morning, Brainbug. Bad Chris. Paul, that's right. Paul Cammish says bad Chris. He's not wrong. Yeah, so there was that. There was the suggestion of Food Fridays. Food Friday.
Atheist food. What's atheist food?
Yeah.
Pure pork products. I
mean, wow, that was good. Fast. You're fast. I had to think about that for a second. We all have our Chris to bear. That's funny. Yeah. So, what else to do? So, I don't know. I'm not sold on the idea of doing Marvel Mondays. I have a co-host on Monday who's really, I should ask him, Daniel Fisk Bennett. He's really big into anti-pseudoscience. He's an anti-pseudoscience person because it hurts so many people, right? And that's his bag. So, but maybe he'd be interested in doing something like that. I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. I like Marvel, but I kind of got overdosed on Marvel. By the time they got with the second Infinity movie, I was like,
I'm a sci-fi fan, but I'm not sort of dedicated to anything.
No, not so much.
No, I really enjoy it, but again, I really rarely have time to sit down and watch, and yeah, I'm not much of a fangirl of anything in particular.
Gotcha.
I'm a bit of a doco nerd.
A what?
A doco nerd, a documentary nerd.
Oh, a documentary nerd. Oh, one of those smart people shows. I get it. Yeah. I don't watch them because
I'm an Aussie. Everything's shortened. Corona is Rona. Documentaries are docos.
Yes. Well, I've had quite a few Aussies on my show. Whenever I first started, it was a group of there was this wild pack of Aussies roaming the internet. And I got tied up with them there for a little while. Chris, the Atheist Pastor, Jen from Jen's Little Corner. There's quite a few of them that hang out fairly regular on the show, or they have in the past. They got their own things they're doing now, but
they do. I'd like to herd all these wild atheists into a corral, and I'd really love to get a call-in show similar to the Atheist Experience, if we could, in Australia. Because religion really flies under the radar here, and we've got some really dangerous things going on. Ken Ham is actually selling schools in Queensland all this ridiculous young earth creationist garbage, and they're teaching children that. So few people realise just how many dangerous things are going on in Australia. Even the Quiverful movement is something here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and
that was something. We need to possibly get you together with Chris, the Atheist Pastor, because that was something that's keen for him. He's wanting to do sort of like an AmericanAtheist.org that we've got here. He wants to create something like that there.
Yeah, I've already been in contact with him, actually. We've already spoken. And then, unfortunately, I got a little under the weather and everything fell aside for about a month or so. And I've only just really started getting back into things. So I will get back onto that. But yeah, I really would like to take Chris and everybody else from that little list that you just read, Navadia, Jen's Little Corner.
Yes.
I don't know how many people actually want to go on air, but yeah, if we can get a production company interested, it would be
sure
really
they would.
Good.
Yeah. There's Sam. And
Vagrant Sam.
Yeah.
Vagrant Sam.
And then Not Your Witness. So right there, you've got enough folks to do what you're looking to do, I believe.
To have a host rotation, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
And
I will work on it.
There's also a lot of nerding there. They may be able to help develop and put together the show.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The likelihood that I really don't think they're all in the same area where they could be like an actual atheist experience where they do the show in person. Actually, one of the things I'm considering doing for my show or is plans down the road is to probably take one day a week and have call-ins, have people call in.
Oh, that would be a great idea. It's
just a technical issue right now. I released a video yesterday showing the technicalities that are involved in what it takes to run this show while we're live, and adding one more thing on top of it would be.
Well, the ACA are lucky; they are blessed with the amazing Vern Grainer, and he's the one that ensured that there wasn't a hiccup with the shows when Corona hit. He had them all up and running from home. There's been a few minor technical issues, but my goodness, that man is talented.
Yeah. Well, it's for those who don't know, it's a lot harder than it looks.
Oh yeah. There's always a lot more work that goes into it.
If you go back and watch my videos, I started with just a little wooden desk and a little mic, and I've developed over to this thing that's just this huge monster now to run. But when I first started, it was all scripted videos. It wasn't live. And now I've got this live thing, and I got to monitor that chat and do this and do that.
Yeah.
I just can't see that I would be able to. And I'm sure I'll be able to find volunteers out there willing to help me do this down the road. But I can't see being able to put like somebody in the background screening calls. So what it'd be me that day going, okay, whoever's calling is coming through. And then it would also be a problem of there would be no caller call waiting. It'd be one person at a time.
Our moderators also do call screening, and they do it remotely.
How do you do that? I'll have to figure out some tech.
I don't know. You would have to ask Vern Grainer.
Yeah, well, I've got some of it down. But then again, of course, this is one of the things that's a little bit different, and this is I have to figure out this because it's just one of the burdens I bear because of the mission I'm upon. I am not the atheist experience is a charity. I'm a business. So for a charity to get volunteer work is one thing. For a business to get volunteer work, I feel uncomfortable asking for.
Oh, really? Why?
Yeah.
So many people want to prop you up.
I'm learning that.
The beauty of the moderator scene is these are people who aren't in it for the money, who really just want to promote their cause. And so, I mean, the people I've had the absolute honor to work with just can't help others enough. They're just a beautiful, beautiful set of people who are willing to give over all their time and energy completely free of charge just to see you succeed. And we all want that.
Yeah. Well, that's wonderful. I appreciate that. I'm learning that. That's something Kristin told me in the very beginning when, you know, she was shilling me out and I'm like, oh, you're so wonderful. And she's like, amazing. You know, this is just the things we do to support the people who we like.
That's right. Yeah.
So, and if I talk about her too much, she blushes. I should put her picture up. It's fun though to watch her blush. She hides. I've never she will hide in chat. She's like, I'm hiding. It's very cute, but she does so much for us, you know. It's just I can't say enough about the people like her who I appreciate.
I can't sing any of the praises enough either, especially Kristin. I honestly don't think she is real. I think she is some sort of disembodied spirit because that girl is everywhere all the time. And she says she's studying. I don't know when she has time to eat or sleep or do anything else.
Right. I know. And when she isn't there, you're like, where is she?
Yeah. It's a huge loss.
Yeah. She's everywhere. I don't, you know, and then I was talking to her last night. I dropped a video last night. Again, I'll put a link. I put a link let me put a link real quick for Brainbug. Brainbug is getting close to 100 subscribers. He's got a very interesting channel. It's about bugs. I don't know if bugs believe in God or not, but it's about bugs. It's actually about, if you're into bugs and entomology.
Wow. Yep. Entomology.
Then I think that's right up your alley and you should go subscribe. So I've put a link for Brainbug. Now I'm going to put a link for my show from yesterday, and it's the studio showing folk what goes on behind the magic. I also show my production assistants, my what do I call them? My production team, my puppy dogs.
Your crew.
The crew. That's right.
The crew.
They were all worn out because, you know, yesterday was a long morning show. It was fun, but you know, it takes a lot of work to produce this kind of stuff. So they were just kind of lazing about. But I'll put a link real quick for that. Here we go. Because my puppy dogs are wonderful. I know this is crazy, right? We were talking earlier about all the platforms and having too much, but I actually have an Instagram, and my purpose of my Instagram now, I do share things there to build up a little bit of an audience. I share the show there and who we're having on guests, and occasionally I'll throw a funny picture. But my plan is to build it into a travel blog called Atheisting, where I'm atheisting in a certain place or going places. I even have a shirt that says to atheist. It's a verb, you know, atheisting is being, you know, and I want to develop that as a travel blog. But again, it's another whole platform to learn. And B, I mean, it's just so much work, you know? You don't think, I'll just do Instagram too. It's not the same. Yeah. And it takes, you know, it takes so much. But now we've got the cooties out there. So if I can get it focused on just traveling, and once we can get back to traveling and being an atheisting in different places, then it'll be great. But right now the cooties are everywhere. Yeah. So Paul Cammish has this wonderful little place in England. I'm certain, I don't know where in England, but it's somewhere in England. And it's beautiful. He has given us an open invite. It's green, there's grass, there's trees. It's a beautiful home, and it's near beautiful places. I'm from West Texas and New Mexico, so green things are just, especially if they're coming out of the ground. If they're coming out of the ground, I love them. I don't get any of it on me though, because that's like nature stuff. Anyway, long story. But he's given us an open invitation to stop by there and stay with him. I bet there's so many people all over the world who watch this show who would love to have us stop by. So I'm going to develop that atheisting blog going down the road. And of course, people like you who do the mods and stuff like that will be depended upon to make it wonderful and help. But again,
the adventuring atheist.
The adventuring atheist. I actually had that as a hashtag for a while. A traveling atheist and stuff like that. Yeah. But I have the domain www.atheisting.com, and it points right back to my. I'm just waiting. to develop it. I've finally got this to the point to where it's, and I was actually on a level thinking everything was leveled out. And then I got this new software that will let me stream into up to 100 different Facebook groups and 100 different Facebook pages. So that's kind of upped the ante a little bit. Like I said, today we're streaming into over a dozen different Facebook pages.
Wow.
And so it's growing. I just got to find more atheist groups and pages willing to let me stream to their stuff. So
yeah.
And this show is going to be syndicated, and it's going to be really badass. So,
awesome.
But again, it's like we're talking about moderators. Oh, thank you. Good morning. Thank you again. There's another coffee. I want to be twitching from Derek Cruz. Thank you, Derek, for the $2. We much appreciate it. Yeah. So moderators, as I grow bigger in what I do, I feel are going to be invaluable. I can't imagine. I've only got, I just now broke 1,000 subscribers and got monetized. I'm already pushing 1,100, 1,050 almost. Anyway, I'm growing pretty fast. When I get up to Jimmy Snow size, if I ever get up to that size of subscribers, how does that guy do it? How many moderators does he have on how many different platforms?
Yeah.
You know,
and it's actually quite difficult to retain moderators. It's a thankless job. Everybody hates you. You can't get any of the balance right ever to please everybody. People become disillusioned with it really rather fast. And it can be rather monotonous. I find moderating the live shows quite interesting because you're listening to the show as you're reading the comments. So you can kind of do both at once. But things like Facebook, where you're just literally wading through reams and reams of comments, it can be difficult to keep the motivation going. So there's generally a high turnover of them. So when you get good ones, you tend to you really need to hang on to them.
Be nice. Be nice to your moderator. The extremely large channels, this is Kristin, best name ever, says the extremely large channels rarely go live. Jimmy does though, but many have scripted videos. Yeah, I have both. I'm going to drop another scripted Evil God Monster of Abraham video this week. So I'm going to do both. Well, one of the things that I've noticed about the ones that have big live audiences, I think Jimmy has in the 300 average whenever you're viewing, I guess, but he's got 200,000 subscribers. So 300, I think, is maybe a little low for live viewers for somebody with that much. But with that much stuff, I still got my stream element shilling Leighann. But with that many subscribers and viewers and things like that, does Jimmy just stream to the one? Does he do just a video? You know what I mean? I don't know. I think the more I go up, the more scary parts of it become. You know, like trolls. I've had the first time Darth Dawkins came in my office or my chat, it was very disturbing, you know?
Yeah.
And I had to go, no, you control that. So I've learned I control them. If a troll comes, I don't care anymore. I control that. I got that.
Yeah.
But you know, it's a little different whenever you've got 30,000. Look at Godless Engineer, 50,000 subscribers almost.
Yeah.
Whole different ball of wax. And then there's different, again, we're talking about different platforms. So how do you only do this one and this one? There must be different people who moderate the other platforms like Discord.
Yeah. Or you can just leave it to be fan run. So instead of doing it yourself, leave it to a fan organization, essentially.
Jimmy Snow, as in Mr. Atheist. Yeah, Jimmy Snow, for those who are not familiar, he recently switched. No, there's no need for mods on scripted videos. I do premiere them though. So there is that. I do premiere them. Jimmy Snow recently is changing his show. His channel was called Mr. Atheist, and he is changing it to Jimmy Snow, I think. So I'm not sure why. You know, I mean, he's got a sellable brand that clearly works. So but I don't watch his stuff enough to know.
Yeah.
You know, I appreciate even what he does, just like I do all my content creator friends, but I don't have time. You know, I don't really have time to go watch all their stuff. I try to support in the evenings, you know, but I don't know.
Well, I generally try to listen to some of my favourite channels, usually the Australian content providers, the ones that we listed before. As I'm going to sleep, I'll actually just pop it on and listen, which means all the ads play as well. So that's good for them.
Yeah, that's right. For those who have it, I like your idea of being able to get them together and doing an Australian version of Atheist Experience. That'd be really nice. And I think it was Ethan, you mentioned a program. I didn't write it down. I need to get it because it's the call-in program. I'd like to get somebody to call in the bill. I think that would be a big swell for the show if we could get callers to call in. All the ones that have the big live stream views have the call-ins. So I guess I don't know a single one that doesn't, but I don't really maintain them all. You know, are you aware with a Dan? What's it? Objectively Dan?
Yeah.
Truth Wanted?
Yeah.
Oh, so
yeah. I mod his Facebook.
Do you?
Sorry, not Facebook. Sorry, not Facebook. YouTube.
I think his is probably the smallest live stream out of there that I've seen with call-in.
No, probably at the moment, just Atheist Vanguard. There's 8 shows with the ACA production.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So what is it? Atheist Experience, Truth Wanted, Talk Heathen, Godless Bitches, Non-Profits, The Preaching Atheist,
really?
Atheist Vanguard, and
are they all out of Austin?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
ACA
a lot
Productions. I'm missing one. Who have I missed?
Sexuality.
Sex and sexuality. Secular sexuality. Oh,
is the smallest.
So there's 8 productions. Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I do all this myself. I can't imagine having a team of 6 or 8 technicians behind doing what they do. That'd be amazing. I saw them move over to where they were, because of the cooties, they started having to stream from home.
Yes.
And that was pretty cool. Technically speaking.
A technical feat.
Yeah.
Again, Vern Grainer.
Yeah. I need to figure out how to, let me see here. I want to see if I can post that image. Did I post that link? Here's that link for those of you who have not seen the video of how I do my studio. It's got all my, it is. Okay, so so if you haven't seen the video, go watch the video about how my whole setup. I'm throwing that in there because we're fixing to go ahead and shut it down. I want to, they posted a Talk Heathen. Do you want to go ahead and post them? Best name ever for the shows that we were talking about. You're welcome to post them for these other shows. She was posting them there for us. So I just kind of missed it. Yeah, so you were talking about the smallest live show, Sex and Secular Sexuality is the smallest. How long have they been going?
No, I don't think that's the smallest. I think the smallest is probably Atheist Vanguard, but I'm not sure that that's live call-in. I can't remember. Right. That's not a consistent show. Do they do call-in? I don't think they do call-in. Sorry, we'll be talking about live call-in?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the ones that do, of the ones that do live call-in.
Of the ones that do live call-in, yeah, maybe it is secular sexuality.
And for those watching who probably know better than I do, it seems as though if you're doing a live stream, you're getting 20, 30, 40 viewers. If you're doing a call-in stream, you're getting hundreds of viewers or thousands of viewers. It just seems to be one of the big differences. Seems to be the call-in. Now, in their case, it could be that they're all call-in. It's not that they're all call-in, it's that they're all produced by ACA, and so they get shared around and get subscribers going from the other shows and stuff like that. So could be along those lines. I don't know. I have to learn more as we go forward, right?
Yeah.
So what other plans do you have? You're already talking to Chris, the atheist pastor, about doing the thing. Do you have anything else going forward?
I've spoken to the group of Australian content providers just very briefly.
Is that an actual group? If it isn't, it sounds like a great name.
Sorry?
It just sounds like a great name. The group of Australian content providers, or the league.
Right. Yeah. Look, I made contact through Nevadia, and through Twitch we've been Twitter we've been messaging. Again, just very briefly before I I was unable to for quite a while. So yeah, hopefully this year I'll get something organized. But I have no idea what I'm doing, so I'll just feel my way around and see what happens.
Well, it could be one of those deals where, you had this idea of doing X, and when you look up, you find out there's other people already kind of moving that direction. So just get with them and work together. And,
jump on board.
Yeah.
Well, that's right. And right now we have an Australian content show, the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, the ABC. They are in dire need of something else on a Sunday morning, aside from religion. It's just highly religious content. We really have nothing on TV or our, private channels like SBS that address specifically atheism in Australia. So that would be a really, really nice little niche to slip into.
It would. Absolutely. Neil's talking that he might actually, or there's been talk of him getting picked up by the ACA to pick up his show.
Wow.
That now I could see why they wouldn't do that, something like that 4 months ago, because it was all in-house, but now they're practically doing everything remotely. So adding somebody remotely doesn't seem like it would be a big thing.
Oh, exactly right. It's easy peasy now.
Yeah. So
I think it's a really great idea. I'm not sure I'd go back to the other form, except for the fact that people who visit the ACA love to sit in on the shows. They really miss that. But I think it's definitely an option.
Yeah, it sounds it. Sounds it. Well, I would love to get to be hooked up, hitch my cart to their wagon. Absolutely. Hell yeah. Because we're on the same page in most aspects. I want to say this because you guys who moderate for the Atheist Experience in YouTube and stuff, or on Facebook, one of the things that I do when I first started making my Evil God Monster of Abraham series, especially before I did the live show, I would create a video and then I would go post it in my groups that I liked. And I tried to ask, hey, do you mind if I post it in this group? And they said yes. Yeah. I would post it in the Atheist Experience group and they would kick me out of the group.
Oh,
I would get kicked out of the group.
No,
and then,
we allow people to promote their own groups, just so long as it's only once a fortnight or once a month. We can't have people just using it as a constant stream.
Totally.
But no, we absolutely allow self-promotion.
Maybe I was doing something wrong, because I even mentioned it on stream one time. I wasn't following them on Facebook. What I do in order to I wanted to avoid offending them or anybody really. Yeah. So if any group said they didn't want me posting my weekly videos, they were weekly videos. If they didn't want me posting the weekly videos, I just left the group kindly. No offense. It was just that way I didn't have them in my list of groups and accidentally send to them again later.
Right. How long ago was that?
It was probably about a year ago. Yeah, I couldn't stay in it. I couldn't post in there. Of course, other places they would say no, and that was fine. But with the Atheist Experience, it was not just no, it was bam, and I was gone. So the Daily Atheist posted an Evil God. Wasn't an Evil God Monster Race. It was before I started doing it.
That's really odd because, as I said, I've been there for 4 years, and it's always been standard procedure to be allowed to. Perhaps it was.
Maybe I was doing something wrong. I
misunderstood as spam. Maybe it was just
Wouldn't surprise me at all. But now Facebook, I'm trying to learn Facebook. Even then, I'm like, what are the rules of Facebook? Clearly I didn't know. Yeah.
Well, you've got a contact on the inside now.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Yes. I appreciate that. Well, it's one of those things that sometimes people don't know. They don't know. I was just some guy, right. People, I got my own group now, and some people will come in, and I don't mind if once in a while they post, but if I look up and they got 5 or 6 posts in my thing, I'm like posting their own crap, I'm like, oh, come on, man. Really?
Yeah, exactly.
So I do get it.
But
so,
no.
And there's also a quality thing. If you pop in my video and you pop some kind of crap that's just crap in my, no, I'm not going to do that. I don't support that.
But no, in the ACA, in the AXP discussion group, that's the Atheist Experience discussion group. No, anything that we think will be of interest to atheists and members, we're more than happy to post. So well, I'm sure we can work out something.
I'll figure it out. Well, I've gotten so busy with the morning show that it's like once, maybe a month now, I'll do a scripted video. I've got one mostly written. I've got to finish it. My wife is just that's one of her favorite things is my scripted videos. So she's really been on me. I got to do it. So I'm going to record it hopefully today and drop it this Sunday.
Oh, that
Evil,
sounds great.
yeah,
Well,
Evil God Monster of Abraham, episode 12.
You have got my private message contact details, so just drop it in there and I'll be more than happy to post it for you.
I'll be careful.
Shamelessly plug anybody contributing to the atheists, the atheist community.
Well, you know, I've met a lot more of them since then. I got to be honest, you know, and again, I can't vilify them too much. I know this side of it now, so I get it. I totally get it. Now, a lot of them know me now. Eric Murphy's been on the show twice. V's been on the show a couple of times, you know. They've been wonderful. So
that doesn't necessarily translate to the mods though, or the groups, because moderators of anything are generally the last people to know about anything that's going on behind the scenes. Generally we find out what's happening through members who seem to know more than we do about the ins and outs. Unlike what most people think, we actually don't have direct lines to the hosts and the organization. It just doesn't work like that. Really? I was there for 2 years before I'd spoken to anybody in relation to, you know, who were a host or somehow connected to the crew. It was just one of the admins. So, yeah, we have very little contact with the organization itself.
Well, you know, whenever I get ready to drop my next video, I'll do the thing and we'll just see what happens. It's all wonderful.
Yeah,
and one of these days, I know this is going to sound, despite everything I've said, because at first I was a little slighted, and then I was like, don't be a dick. But the wife and I are actually planning on driving to Austin.
Oh, brilliant!
Because there's the Austin, and then just north of that is the Dallas area, and Dallas has the Atheist Edge, Aaron Ra, people like that. So we were talking about planning ahead, of course, letting them know we'd be coming down there and seeing if I could manage to slip on their shows.
I think it's really important to cross promote.
Oh,
it really is. The atheist community, no matter who you are, we really need to prop all of our hosts and content providers up and prop them up.
Well, so far they've been a wonderful group of people.
Yeah, I think so too.
The content creators that I met when I first started, Neil. Matter of fact, again, Neil is one of those ones. Without Neil, the 604 Atheist, again, I have to say my show would not be what it is. We, you know, I told you we steal. Yeah. You know, and he's thrown me some great guests, Marie Delafont, and Dave Warnock. I think I saw one of them, and then Kristin got involved. Kristin was anyway. We bring. But anyway, I've met a lot of people through these other content creators because they're just so wonderful. They're so giving and sharing and willing to help out. You know,
they are. If they were Christians, that'd be a wonderful example.
It would absolutely. One of the things, you know, especially whenever I got to say thank you to Kristin, because oftentimes as a new content creator, I'm a new content creator. All right, my show looks probably okay, and it might seem like it's been here a while, but really it's only been here 5 months. I'm all new.
5 months.
Yeah, 5 months. Yeah, on the 23rd was 5 months. Of the Daily Atheist Morning Show. So, but I've had like Aaron Ra and Seth Andrews and Dr. Richard Carrier, all these on my show. But I was too afraid to approach any one of those. Well, I wasn't too afraid. I just wasn't ready. My show wasn't big enough. Right. But Kristin was out there going, push. Go get him. Go get him. Here, have you talked to this guy yet? She's been, have you talked to this guy? Here's his link. Have you talked to him? I've already talked to him about you, and he's ready for you to ask. Have you? I'm like, oh, okay, I'll ask him. Would you like to be on this show? Have you ever done that? You're going to talk to somebody, then you send that message, and you look up, and it's like to this wonderful, important, and then you see, oh my God, it was not your. Oh shit. This guy's.
Well, I'm having a lot of problem with my site, so my typing is atrocious. And it's not because I can't spell or, you know, I'm illiterate. It's just really poor typing, and it's really embarrassing. Sort of die a little on the inside. On
one of my first shows, I can't remember exactly who it was. It was, I think it may have been Aaron Ra, because it was a biggie, one of the biggies. I was so excited. But now with Aaron Ra, I remember being very nervous. If you go back and watch, I was just nervous as I was starting the show. But there was another one. It wasn't Aaron Ra.
His face intimidates me.
Well, I like to be funny and I like to crack jokes, especially when I'm nervous. And it's 8 o'clock in the morning, which is like an ungodly hour for Aaron Ra. And I'm making these jokes, and he's just
Is stony faced.
I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be a tough room. Bing, bing. Yeah. So that kind of, it made me really nervous to have them on the show. But with this other one, what I've got the ability to put other people up on the screen. So what I had done was whenever he was going to talk, I introduced myself and I said, and I needed to top off my coffee. And I said, if you will, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people. So I pressed the button for I was still doing it over here. I turned it on to where he was big and they could see him and I could go get my coffee. So I run over and I get my coffee and I sit down and he's just about done talking. And I bumped my coffee right into my lap. It bounced once on my table and then right into my lap. And then he's done and I'm on. And I'm like, oh, well, that was just fascinating. I just wrote it through it. Oh, it was
not a high-pitched voice. That would have been painful.
Well, if you watch the video, if we go back and watch the video, you can see, well, tell us about this. I think they were talking about Project Blitz or something. And so he started talking about something else and I put him back and I went and grabbed the towel. And, once he was done, you can see me. I'm still got the towel and I'm like, why put me back on the screen? Yeah, that was fun times. Well, you know what? It's after 8 here or 9, whenever it is. I appreciate you coming and being on the show. It's midnight, past midnight. You're going to turn into a pumpkin. Wait,
it is. Oh, look, I'm a bit of a night owl anyway, so the pleasure was mine. Thanks for inviting me on. I didn't think we could fill an hour with my boring lifestyle, so we managed.
Well, I'm a rambler. I can tend to ramble.
Well, and I can talk the leg off the table, so
it's a delicate balance of rambling and still letting you speak occasionally.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. There's tons of mice has topped off my coffee. You guys are wonderful. Thank you. There's another $2 for support of the show. It is wonderful. I appreciate you all. I'm going to go ahead and let Miss Tanjil run. Thank you for showing up. Well, I know you don't do this often, so I'm honored that you came on my show.
Oh, thank you so much. It was a pleasure and it's been lovely chatting. And bye, mods, you hardworking people, and to all your viewers. Bye for now.
Bye for now. Thank you guys very much. Have a wonderful week. We will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to have Ethan on the show and a special guest. And I'm sorry, I just slipped in my brain. I should really look this stuff up and be prepared. If I had a production team. Okay, you guys have a wonderful day and we will see you tomorrow. You take care.